Welcome to block printing. What is block printing? Block printing is a stamping technique used for printing text, images, or patterns on paper as well as fabrics. Block printing involves carving the desired pattern onto a large block, covering it with designs. Wood is a commonly used material to make blocks. These wooden blocks are intricately carved with detailed designs. Later, those design blocks are covered with ink or dye and stamped onto a fabric. Block printing is a simple stamping method that anyone can try using simple tools and materials. Now let's watch a demonstration to understand how to do block printing using simple techniques.
Hi everyone, let's get started with block printing. For block printing, we need the following materials: ready-made blocks, bubble sheet, a fabric to work, sponge pieces, water to mix with your acrylic paints, palette, and some brushes. Now let's see how to use ready-made blocks and use them for block printing. As a first step, you're going to take the bubble sheet and lay it on your working area so that it acts as a cushion for your printing purpose. On the bubble sheet, we will lay the fabric that you're going to work and then get started in loading your ready-made blocks. You get these kinds of fancy ready-made blocks which are available in craft stores and art stores, so you can get these and we can use it for block printing. Take the acrylic paints or fabric paints in your palette. Do not dilute these colors because you need to apply thick layer of paints to work on the surface. So you can either use a flat brush or a piece of sponge to dab on to the block like this. Using a sponge will help you to give an even application of color to the block. Once when you have done the application with the sponge, immediately flip it over and press it on to the fabric. Press it nice and hard, and this bubble sheet, which is a cushion for your work, will help you to achieve a better output of printing. A nice brighter output will be there. So we are just going to carefully release the block and you will have a printout like this. So like this, you can use many colors and different designs to work on the block printing. So let me try one more design for you. So I'm just going to take a red color and I'm just going to apply it to my peacock design. After loading it with red paint, this block can be flipped over to the fabric like this and nicely pressed it with full pressure using your palm, and if you release it, you will get a beautiful printout like that. So like this, we can make a lot of designs using ready-made blocks and get it ready. We have now completed our wooden block printing on fabric using ready-made wooden blocks. The full completed piece will look something like this. Now let's use foam sheets to make blocks for block printing. For that, you will need the following supplies. You can take a thin foam sheet or even a thick foam will also do. Bubble sheet to use as a base for your printing. Some carton papers or cartons like these. Scissors, stencils of your choice, palette, a cup of water, glue gun, some brushes, acrylic paints, a pencil to draw, preferably a blunt one, and a fabric to practice. Now let's learn how to create stamps using foam sheets. As a first step, we are going to take the foam sheets. They come in many sizes and colors. The color doesn't matter because you just need to use it for your painting. Take your foam sheet, leave any stencil of your choice, or you can even draw your own design on it. So I'm just going to use a heart shape here. Using a slightly blunt pencil, trace the heart shape like this, so that you get an outline of the desired shape. Once when you have the heart shape like this, we are going to cut it out. Start cutting your foam cutout carefully along the edge of your pencil drawing. Make sure you do it evenly on the edges. Like this, let's cut it out and get it ready. As the next step, after making your heart shape cutout on the foam sheet, this is going to be glued to a carton paper or a box like this. So we're just going to apply some glue. Yeah, I'm using the hot glue gun here. You can also use regular glue for this. So just apply the glue like this and take this and stick it to your packing carton like this, and press it down firmly and leave it to dry for a few minutes. Now that we have stuck it, we are just going to cut it out very carefully along the edge of the heart shape and get it ready. If you notice, I finished sticking a piece of packing carton to the heart foam shape. Now this is going to be stuck to another piece of cardboard the same way like this. We are doing this because the foam is very thin, so it won't serve the purpose of stamping when you put it against your fabric and press it. So only when it's slightly raised, it will be more comfortable for you to press it. So we're just going to glue this into another piece of card paper and we're going to cut it out and get it ready. Like this, we'll apply glue again and we will stick it again to the cardboard like this, and we will leave it to dry and we will cut it out and get it ready. If you notice, I have now stuck the foam sheet, the heart cutout, onto two pieces of packing carton heart shapes. Now this is going to be finally glued to another final piece of packing carton so that you have a sturdy, strong base of a stamp to do your stamping technique with blocks. So you're just going to apply again the glue to the heart shape on the packing carton paper, and we're just going to glue this to another sturdy base like this, and we're going to press it down and leave it to dry. You can trim off the excess and it's ready to use it for your block printing. Here are some ideas of using foam sheet and making stamps for block printing. Now I showed you how to make this heart shape using the packing carton and foam sheet. Same way I made a bigger heart like that. You can also make shapes like this, like a positive and a negative one. So I just took a star and I traced it, and then I cut it out and I stuck it to a packing carton like this with glue gun. You can also use the negative space and stick it on to a bottle cap like this and use it as a stamping tool for your block printing. You also get ready-made stamps like these in the market, which you can also use it for block printing. Now let's try out these stamps which we have made using foam sheets on fabrics. So we are just going to try out our stamps. I'm just going to apply the acrylic paint to my stamp using the flat brush. You can also use a sponge to do this application. So let's try it out. Do not put too much of paint. Spread out the paint evenly like how I'm doing with my flat brush. Preferably a flat brush will give you a better coverage like this. So once when the paint application is done, flip this stamp over your fabric, place it in a spot. Make sure you have bubble sheet underneath your fabric so that when you press it, it is more cushioning for the printout. So just press it nice and firmly using your finger and carefully release the stamp from the fabric. So this is how you can make prints using homemade stamps. I'm also going to try out my other stamp which I made with the star pattern. Same way, using a flat brush, I'm applying acrylic paint to the stamp like this, and I'm just going to stamp it on my fabric, placing it in this spot. In the same way, I'm going to try the negative space, this one with a different color. I stuck this to a bottle cap and just going to try it out here. So like this, we can easily make blocks using foam sheets and make prints like this on fabric. Now let's learn how to make stamps using jute cord. You need the following supplies for that: jute cord, packing carton like these, a white fabric to practice your block printing, bubble sheet, white glue, acrylic paints, any colors of your choice, sponges or brushes as applicators, a soft pencil, scissors, and a glue gun. Now let's learn how to make blocks using jute cords. As a first step, we are going to take our jute cord. If you notice, the jute cord has a lot of fiber on it, so when you stick it onto your stamping base, it will be difficult for you to handle it. So let's use a little bit of white glue. I've taken it some in my palette, and this is going to be applied to the jute cord so that all the fiber that is jetting out of the cord will get stuck together and will also be stiff enough for you to manage with the folding of your design. So let's apply like this for the entire cord and get it ready. As a next step, while your cord is getting dry, you can start composing a design on a packing carton paper. You can draw any design of your choice. Let's keep our design very simple because based on the thickness of your cord, you can decide the design. I'm just going to draw a simple coil design here, like that with my pencil, and we are going to trace it with the glue gun and we're going to stick the cord. For that, I'm just going to use my glue gun. I'm just going to apply glue like that and just go in small parts at a time. Don't try to cover the whole thing. So we're just going to use the cord, place it on the glue line, and carefully start sticking it like how I'm doing. Like this, let's stick the entire design and keep it ready. Firmly press it down so that it is nice and strong when it's dry. Now that I've finished sticking my jute rope onto the cardboard base, it's now left to dry, and now the excess can be trimmed off. Once when you trim off the excess, it is ready for you to mount it to a more sturdy base to make the base more strong. You can stick another piece of packing carton too to make it even more stronger, or you can even stack pieces of packing carton like this on this so that it will serve like a handle for your stamp. So let's stick this and get it ready. If you notice, my stamp is now ready for us to practice our block printing on the fabric. You can also try other designs like these. Some complicated designs can also be done the same way by using a jute rope. I've stuck on the mango shaped design and I've got it ready. I've applied a coat of white paint so that it seals all the fabric together to the base. You can also have a handle like this using the same packing carton so that it is easy for you to work, press it and lift it. So now let's practice our stamps on our fabric. So for that I've taken some acrylic paints here. You can either use a flat brush or a sponge to apply the colors. I'm right now going to try with a sponge, so I'm just going to load the red paint and I'm just going to try it on this mango design. I'm just going to apply it carefully only to the raised areas of the design. Make sure the colors are nice and thick. Do not add water to the paints too much. Just add 1 or 2 drops if you feel it's dry. After applying the color to the block, you're just going to flip it over and you're just going to place it in one corner of your fabric and nicely press it firmly to get a printout of the design on the fabric. Make sure you have a bubble sheet or any cushion underneath so that you get an even coverage of the printing. Carefully release the stamp from the fabric to see the output that you have on the fabric. So this is how you will get it when you use jute ropes as stamps. You can also try the same way with this design. This time I'm going to use a brush applicator to show you the difference. So you take the color, apply it with your brush, apply only to the raised areas of your stamp, that is the cord, like this. And start pressing it against your fabric. Let's press it down firmly and release the stamp. So this is how you can make stamps using jute ropes and use it for block printing. Now let's see how to make styrofoam stamps. For that you need the following supplies: a styrofoam cup like this, a packing carton cardboard, bubble sheet, a fabric to practice your styrofoam printing, scissors, a blunt pencil, flat brushes or round brushes, some acrylic paints already mixed and kept in your palette, a cup of water, and a glue gun. Now let's see how to make styrofoam stamps. As a first step, we are going to take a styrofoam cup like this. You can even take a plate or any size is fine. So just take this. We are going to use the smooth side on the bottom for our stamps. So let's get started to work on this. You're just going to cut the cup and I'm going to get it ready. We need only that rectangle piece which is there at the bottom. So I'm just going to cut the smooth side and keep it ready. Now that we have our foam sheet, we're just going to start sticking it onto a piece of packing carton so that it will be a sturdy base for you to work. For that, you can use a glue gun or you can even use liquid glue. Just apply some glue and then we are going to stick it to the packing carton like that. Leave it to set for a few minutes and then you can cut off the excess cardboard. So like this, we will trim off the excess cardboard on the sides and keep it ready. Now that our base is ready, we are going to start working on the design. You can draw any design of your choice on this. So I'm just going to show you a simple floral design, a little ornamental pattern. So I'm just drawing a circle in the center. Using a pencil, you'll do this drawing because do not press it too hard and your pencil should be slightly blunt. Okay, if it's too sharp, it will tear the styrofoam plates, so please be mindful when you work with this. First, softly draw the design with your pencil, like how I'm doing now. And then you can go over the same lines again and again till you get a depression with those lines. Like this, carefully press it down and work like this. Make sure you don't rip off the styrofoam sheet, so please be careful with that part. So like this, we can add details to our design and get it ready. If you notice, I've gone over my design again and again 2-3 times so that there is a depression. There is a shallow line there and then is a raised line there. So wherever it is raised, that is going to be the area where we're going to have the paints, just like any ready-made wooden block. Now on this, we can apply our color and try it to make our block printing using these styrofoam plants. So now let's try out our styrofoam stamp. I'm just going to start with the yellow color. I'm just going to take this color in my palette. Do not dilute or add too much of water to the paint. Just use thick paints. Just flatly rub the color like that. Then I'm going to use some orange. Then I'm going to use some red. And now we're going to stamp it against our fabric. Press it nicely, firmly with your fingers. Make sure you have a bubble sheet underneath while you're working so that it acts as a cushioning for printing. And then carefully release your design and you will have a beautiful print like that on the fabric. Now let's learn how to do vegetable block printing. For vegetable block printing, you need the following supplies. Some vegetables of your choice. I have taken now here lady's finger, some beans, onion and potatoes, bubble wrap for cushioning, a white fabric to practice your block printing, vegetable carving tool, knife, a chopping board, some brushes, acrylic paints and a cup of water and a waste piece of fabric to wipe the vegetables. Now let's see how to do vegetable block printing. As a first step, we are going to chop the vegetables. For that, I'm going to use a knife. If you are a kid who is practicing this technique, please ensure there is an adult who is helping you to do this step. So please chop it off like this, and you can use this for making blocks with lady's finger. Same way, let's chop the beans. And you can use this for making blocks with the beans. Same way, the beans can be chopped a little diagonally, like angular, so that you can get an oval shape to make your leaves or some dots or patterns for your block printing. Now let's chop the onion. So for that, I'm just going to chop it like this from the bottom, so that you get a petal shape like that for your block printing. Same way, now let's chop the potato into equal halves like this. Now the potato can be done, carving can be done on this. You can either use a knife or a vegetable carving tool to carve out a design. If you look at the vegetable carving tool, they have two shapes like this, so you can use them to make beautiful petal shapes like that. So let's start carving with the vegetable carving tool some nice designs on our potato. After carving out the design on the potato, we need to remove the outer rim. For that, we're just going to use a knife again. Make sure you are carefully handling the knife. Just carefully run the knife only on the outer edge of the potato to get a ring like that. And this can be chopped off by removing it like this. So this way you'll be able to take out the design like that. Now on this you can use the other side of the carving tool to create some deep cuts to separate the flower petals and show in the design. So like this, let's add details and get it ready. To make a leaf for the floral arrangement, you can use the leaf carving tool. This is again a scraper tool which comes for vegetable carving. Just place it on your potato like this, flip this thing over and give a strong press so that it gives a slit inside the potato like that, and just pull it out carefully so that you get just the shape of a leaf like that on your base. Now again, the same way we will do a rim cutting so that we can take out only the outer ring of the block and get it ready for carving and details. So after cutting it out, this outer rim can be removed, and again you can still use the vegetable carving tool to engrave some veins on the leaf shape. Like this, I'm now doing the center vein and then the side veins. It doesn't have to be only flowers when you do with potatoes. You can also try other designs. So like this, you can scoop out the design like this and get some leaf designs like this ready. So after we have carved all these, we are now ready to practice our block printing on the fabric using the vegetable blocks. So before we start that, you need to wipe the vegetables on a cotton fabric so that it absorbs all the fresh juice that is coming from the vegetables. So make sure you do this for the onion, the lady's finger, the beans and the potato so that it doesn't get watery when you put the paints on it. So let's clean this up and get it ready for printing on the fabric. After you're done with all the blocks, we are just going to start getting ready to paint it on the fabric. So I'm just going to take my potato and I'm going to use yellow on it. The paints have to be thick from the bottles. Do not add water to these paints because it will start blotting on the fabric if you do that. So just apply it with your flat brush like this. In case your paints are thick, just add 1 drop of water, not more than that. So like this, you apply with your flat brush and just start pressing it on your fabric like this to get a print of it. So this way we can make block print with potatoes. Same way we can now use an onion to do another design. So I'm just going to take some red, I'm going to use some purple, I'm going to blend it, and then I'm just going to press it against the fabric to make a print on the fabric. So like that you can get a bud effect. Same way you can use lady's finger to apply colors like that. When you use lady's finger, please ensure to push the seeds inside or remove the seeds and then start applying the colors, because it will be a hindrance when you print it on the surface. So apply the color like this and start pressing it against your fabric. That will give you a print on the fabric like that with small flower effects. Same way you can do with many colors. Like I'm going to try a little lighter blue on that. Press it nicely, firmly, and carefully release like that. So same way we can also use beans to make leaves and other things. For that I need to add the stem. So I'm just going to add the stem with my brush. I'm going to take some green paint. I'm going to add the stem. Then we can add some leaves to our design. Now let's get started to add some leaves. We have already carved and kept a potato with the leaf design on it. So I'm just going to show you how to apply the leaf design. I'm going to start with a little yellow on my leaf block like that, and then a little bit of green, and then we're just going to press it against the fabric like that. And we will release it like that. So that way you can make leaf prints on the fabrics. Same way we can add many leaves like that. You can also use beans to add leaves. Same way I'm just taking the angular cut beans, just applying some green to it, and we have to just press it against the fabric to make small tiny leaves like that. So let's add more leaves like this and complete our vegetable block printing. If you notice, I've completed my vegetable block printing on the fabric. We have made some flowers using onion, potatoes, beans, lady's finger, and we also learned how to carve them on potatoes. So this is how you can complete your vegetable block printing on fabrics. If you notice, we have completed all our 5 different styles of block printing, which you can do easily from home with all basic materials that you have at home. We have learned how to do wooden block printing, styrofoam block printing, foam sheet block printing, jute rope block printing, and vegetable block printing. I hope my tutorial on these basic block printing techniques will be useful for you to understand block printing. Thanks for watching.